Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic and a speed run tonight. I had forgotten, well, I hadn't really forgotten, somewhere in the back of my brain there was an occasional reminder that I still have the third part of the speed running from the US Sudoku qualifying test to do. This was all designed by Wei-Hwa Huang and features the, it's themed on Zelda. And we will see various medallions and pearls, I presume, tonight. Certainly in the puzzle titles and possibly depicted in the grid. For instance, I think the givens here form a shape that is reminiscent of a fire medallion in the Zelda game. So the people who have played Zelda have better information than I do about that. But looking forward to having go. I will be trying 3 puzzles tonight. One of them is a classic, clearly. What are the other 2? Let's have a look. I haven't looked, actually. One of them seems to be an odd-even puzzle, and one is an irregular, clearly. Okay, so those are the 3. What I will be doing is going through the rules after a few minutes, and then going through the puzzles one at a time as fast as I can to just see how I've done. If I had been smart, I would have the other ones up and my times logged so that I could tell you what they were. Maybe I'll record a little bit at the end of the video to tell you what my overall time for the 10 puzzles that have been in this part of the US qualifying test were. Now, the alarming news for those of you who think, oh, well, I've managed the 10 puzzles, 2.5 hours, no problem, is that there was another whole section of just as many puzzles with much more complicated shapes and rules. And the 10 puzzles I've been taking on is only half the test and probably less than half. Anyway, I will mention the times at the end then in some way. I will come to that. But first of all, I'm going to tell you that on Patreon, there's loads of content this month. So a second long solve by Simon, this time of Thank You Very Much by James Sinclair. It's a wonderful puzzle in an 11 by 11 grid. You have to find 9 square Sudoku boxes and then obey the rules. There's some brilliant lines in it. It's really clever, actually. I liked it a lot. That followed up the Roggen puzzle by Lake this month. And of course, there's my crossword solve, my connections videos, loads of extra content on Patreon, the solution videos to the monthly reward, which for November was the Skunkworks' brilliant Duality 2. December's is going to be Swipe Right by Cracking the Cryptic. We urge you to check that out. And loads going on, as always, on the channel. Do check out what's going on Patreon. There's all of our apps, which now feature Fog of War Sudoku. I will say no more than that, other than it's brilliant. And we do have a classic Sudoku app as well, if you miss the classics, which we used to do more of on the channel, but the variants proved very popular. And that's, I think, what most people come here for. So, but I will be starting with a classic Sudoku today. And then after that, we've got lots of other apps. We've got a merchandise, such as this wonderful backpack. Why not get one? And SVEN'S SUDOKU PAD. They're all on the links under the video, as are the 3 links to the 3 puzzles I'm doing today. And we start with Fire Medallion by Wei-Hwa. Normal Sudoku rules apply. 1 to 9 goes in every row, every column, and every 3 by 3 box. Then I'm going to move on to Light Medallion, where normal Sudoku rules apply, the same ones I just mentioned, and this time a grey circle contains an odd digit and a grey square contains an even digit. Very unusually, givens appear in the circles and squares in this puzzle, but I think that's just so we can show the pattern that Wei-Hwa was reflecting in the Light Medallion here. And then finally, we will do Water Medallion. Now, normal Sudoku rules do not apply because we don't have 3 by 3 boxes. It is just place 1 to 9 in every row, every column, and every outlined region, like that one. So those are the 3 puzzles. I'm going to just crack straight on, starting off with the Fire Medallion, the classic. Let's get cracking, see how we do. So 7 and 8 are in those cells. 8, 6, 9, 1, 4, 8, 7. 7 and 8 are also in those cells. 6 is in one of those two. Doesn't look like there's many giveaways here. 8 is in one of those. 4 is confined slightly more helpfully into those two, in box 2. These are from 1, 3, 5. I don't want to corner mark. Ah, that's a naked single. 2, 8, 6, 9 in the column, 4, 7, 5 in the row, 3 in the box. That can be very helpful. That makes this a naked single. 1, 7, 8, 3, 6, 9 and 4. No, hang on. I think this is a 2, 5 pair. Am I wrong? No, I might be wrong about that. Oh, I misinterpreted, sorry. That is a naked single, 3. It is. That is right. 2, 3, 1, 8, 6, 9. So this is 4 or 5. Yeah, I can't do the rest of the column. I mean, if it's a naked single spotting exercise, it's quite a tough puzzle for a human to do, and absolutely simple for a computer. 6, 9, 8, 3, 4, 7, 6, 5, 3. 3's in one of those. I am going to pencil mark that. 3, 7. I mean, I should keep focusing on this central box. I think it's got stuff in. 6 and 9, yeah, they're a pair there. That might help. That means 2's in one of those cells. I have a bit of a cold at the moment, so I hope that's not going to affect the solve too much or lead to any rather unpleasant sniffing, but it might. That can't be 8. That can't be 7. That is 2 or 5. I didn't expect that pair to give me much, and it didn't. This is 4 or 5. If it was 4, that would be a 4. If it was 5, that would be a 5. That's interesting. A 5 there would definitely make that a 1. And what's the alternative to that? If that was a 4, we've got a 4 there. That didn't go much further. That would make this a 2, 5 pair. That would put 5 in one of those. I can't see what that does. That is 6 or 9 as well. Okay, I'm going to pencil mark that because of the consonants of those two. 6, 9, 5, 7 in the column. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, the rest of the cells in the column are quite constrained, but not enough to actually put anything in, annoyingly. Yeah, this is tricky. This is tricky, but we're gonna find a way through it somehow. Oh, there's an 8 in row 8 that can just be placed there. That puts 8 in one of those two cells. That's an X-wing with 8s over that side. Now, 5 and 3. Oh, that's a naked 2. Sees every other Sudoku digit in its row, column, or box. So we've got a 3, 5, 7 triple, but we've got a 7 down there somewhere. 3, 5, 7, 8, 6. This is now a 1, 9 pair, a naked pair in the box, and that means 7 in this column has to be there. Oh, I could have done that from spotting the 3, 5 pair. That's 3, that's 5, that's 5 in the row, that's 5 in its column. We might have got all 5s done. Now, that is going to get to the work on, well, gets to work on the 2, 4, 5 triple in the central box, but it doesn't fully resolve it. 7, 8, 3, where's 2? Not there. Okay, this box, 2, 4 and 6 to place. No. There's a 3 in one of those cells, so that's the 3 in column 7. How are we doing on 3s? We've got only 5 of them finished. And then a couple of X-wings left. Bother. X-wings aren't always helpful. Sometimes they're just proof that you can't go any further at the moment. 8 and 2. Oh, 2 has to be there now. Yes, the 2 in the top box is there. That's why 2 is here. That sorts out the 8 X-Wing in rows 3 and 4. That places 3 there. And that is 6 or 9, but I don't know which. Sorry, my cold is not helping me now. Oh, that's a naked 1. I can finish column 7. That's a 9. 8, 1, 5, 3. Oh, goodness. I mean, we're going well here. I probably just need to see the right order to do the rest of the puzzle in, and we should be all right. 3, 9, 4, 8, 2, 5. Or maybe this row. 8, 7, 3, 4, 5. That's not... Yes, we've placed 2 in row 3. Then we place 2 down here, and box 7 gets a lot of digits. There's a 4 in one of those. The 6, no, 6 in one of those two. 1 or 9 in that corner. Oh, 4 has got placed there, though. So that places that 6 straight away. Then we got a 1-9 pair. Neither of those can be 3, interestingly. So that's a 5-7 pair. This is a 1. That's 1 or 9, which actually makes a pair in this row and does let me finish off the other digits. 3 and 2, and that makes 3, 8, 7 go in there. 4 is somewhere down here, and I don't know which, but surely we can translate. Oh yeah, that's become a 1. Sorry, that was a 1 for a while. So 1, 6, and 7 in those cells. 4, 8. Are they not resolved? Oh yes, the 4, 5 pair in the central box is, and that at least fixes 4 at the top, and 8 is fixed. Goodness me, yes it is. So in the top row, a 1 and a 7. Can't actually see how to do that. In this row, 1, 6, 9. Here, yeah, that's 7, that's 5, that's 7. 4, 6, 9 to go in. Oh, that's weird. How is that not done? 3, 9, 4, 2, 8, 5. Feels like the whole thing ought to be done. There's a 1 in one of those cells, so that's a 9. 1 and 9 there. This is now a 1, 4 pair. What's this? 1 or 6. And there's a 1 again in one of those two cells in column 8, so that makes that a 4. Then I can put 4 here. Now, this can't be a difficult thing at this point to finish off, surely. No, we've got 7 there, so the final column is finished. That's going to finish all the bottom 6 rows of the puzzle, and in fact that's going to finish row 3 and row 2 and the whole thing. There we go. So 8 minutes 15, not that stunning a time, but it is a time, and for a decent classic, I think that was pretty tough. I'd be very interested to see how you guys get on with that. Do log your times if you would be so kind. I'm going to take a break for just a second. Yes, you don't want to see the excessive nasal activity on camera. I'm going on to light medallion now because I'm determined to get these done. Right, let's restart this. Let's get cracking. 6, 5, 7, 4. That's a 1, 3 pair. This is 2, 8, 9. Not 5. 2, 8, 9. 3, 1. Oh, never, don't worry yet about the odd digits. 5, 9, 6. Oh, these are all the odds of the box, though. So everything else in this box is even. Yeah, that is helpful. 2, 8, 9, 4, 3, 1. So when I said don't worry about the oddness of the digits, well, do worry sometimes. Here, again, look at this box. Everything not in those circles in this box is even. So let's just write them in as far as we can. That must help. That's a 5 because it's odd. That's 4 or 6. They're even. 6, 7, 8, 4, 2, 3. That seems to be a naked 1. That must be 9. That's a 5. This is a 3, 7 pair. Oh, what are these? 5 and 9. I don't want to be slow. Come on. 5, 4, 9, that is 3 or 7. Now I'm getting fixated by the odd digits. That's what I wanted not to happen. 3 in this box is in one of those two cells, and then one of those two in column 8. 7 is also up there somewhere. 8, 2, 6. That's the only square given in this puzzle. I've only just found this out. Is actually on a given digit, so I don't have to find any evens myself, except where by default they must appear. 9 is definitely in one of those cells. Let's look in this row. We've still got a 6 to place and 1, 3, 5. Is that a quint? No, not quite, but 4 is in one of those cells. What about 2 and 8? 8 is in one of those two. Oh, and 2 must also be in that group. It's a kind of even quartet. I don't even really understand how that occurred, but there it is. That is 1, 3, or 7. 6, 3, 4, 2, 8. Those can't be 5. They're from 1, 7, 9. 2, 3, 1. Now, up here, 6 has to be in one of those two. That's very obvious and not very helpful. Oh, 4, 2, 4, 8. How am I going to use that triple a bit better? I don't know. These are from 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. No, that doesn't get anything done. That 3, 7 was a surprising find as well. So 1 is in one of those cells. This is 5 or 9. And look, there's a quad. That means this isn't 3 or 7. And that means this is 3 and 7 here. That is really surprising. 3, 5, 7, 9. Let's not forget this quad. That makes that 4 or 8. All of the other digits in the row are even. And there's a 4, 6 pair. Excellent. So now I can fill in 1 and 5. That's now a 9. And now 5's placed in box 4. It's not in those cells, which are resolved as 6 and 7. That's not a 9. That's been the case for a little while. 5, 2, 3, 1, 7. Not sure down here. 4, 6, but now we had 2 more even digits to go in this row. But yeah, they're not what's getting it done. 9 there is looking at that. So that's a 5, 9. And we're left with a 3, 7 pair in the box. That's also a 3, 7 pair in the column. 1 in the circle there. That's not 7 now. That must be a 6 in this column. So then there's a 3, 5 pair. 9 and 7 fill in. That becomes a 3. That's a 7. That's now 3 and 7 down there. That one we must know. It's a 5. This one we must know, it's a 1. That places 1 in box 3. Maybe all the ones in the grid are done now, I would think. That is a naked 8, which is very helpful here. 2 and 5 to place in row 2. That's a 2, that's a 6, that's an 8. That's going to sort out this triple in the centre. 6 and 4 there, which are not resolved. Now, 2 and 3 here are resolved by the circle. And and by everything else. That is a 4, 5 pair. We do know the order, and that's going to sort out all the 4, 6s that I had marked. All of them. If I could just get my cursor to them. There we go. So down in this box, we've got an 8 there, and that's going to look across at the 2, 8 pair. Then we've got 9 and 6 and 1 digit to go. There we go. Just under 6 minutes, and that is the solve of Light Medallion. So quicker even than the classic. And I'm going to just skip on to Water Medallion to try and survive my ENT issues. Right. This is irregular, so this may be a bit tougher in some ways. But I'm going to use the law of leftovers. Where do those go in column 9? They go down here. So one of them's an 8. Now, I'm not going to be afraid to mark across boxes. Those 3 are the same as those 3. And there's a degree of that carrying on down the grid. Those 2 are those 2. So one of those is a 6. The law of leftovers is often a very good place to start with an irregular Sudoku. Yeah, where's 1 in the bottom row? There. Where's 6 in this shape? It's there. That's good. Now, those 2 are the same. I'm literally going to colour them because I don't see why I shouldn't. I mean, there's an argument that I shouldn't, because if I was solving on paper, I wouldn't have the facility to do that. Now, 8 is in one of those cells. But where's 8 in this? Oh, bother. Sorry, I didn't mean to mark it like that. I meant to mark it like that. Where's 8 in this shape? It's in one of those 3. So now I've got pencil marks doing double duty in the row and the column. That's a bit foolish, maybe. 2, 5. I mean, once you get a start in an irregular, it can go quite well. 1 in this region is in one of those 2. 6 in this region is in one of those 2. 8 in this region is in one of those 3, and that's not quite the same. This is a good place to be looking there. Oh, this digit goes up here along with a 6 in one of those. In column 1. That's quite interesting too. And in this box, in this region, it's in one of those places. Now, let's extend the law of leftovers. Those 4 have to be the same as those 4 if we cut off the bottom 2 rows of the grid and compare with the 2 shapes. That means one of these 2 is a 9. Now my pencil marking's all over the place. But it also means 1 and 6 are in those cells, which I kind of knew anyway. So the other digit in these is not 2 or 5. I just don't know. 8 in this region can't be there because of that triple. So those are ruled out from being 8, so are those. So the 8 in this region is in one of those 3, just as it is for those. Now that's tidied up the pencil marking a bit. I'm just trying to remember that there is an 8 in one of those 2, which isn't necessarily the case otherwise. It's tricky. The other digit there is in one of those. Can't really use that. Maybe 1 in this bone-shaped central region has to be in one of those places. 4, 2, 3, 5, 8. I mean, it seems to be, I've been given 3 8s, and now I've been given 3 1s and I've got a 4th. Maybe that just means focus on 1s. The 1 in this region is in one of those cells. I mean, I wouldn't normally pencil mark 4 different cells, but you just never know when it might matter. So we've got, if we allow that 1 is in one of those places, that's marked the ones in the bottom 4 rows. There's a 1 in this region somewhere, and there's a 1 in the central region, which I thought had to be in one of those 3 cells. Oh, that's not possible. Yes, this doesn't quite mean enough. Okay, 2. Those 4 cells are the same as those 4. Ah, they are, so that needs an 8. And there's a 4 in one of those 3. I'm not going to pencil mark that, but there had to be an 8 in one of these 4. Yeah, I mean, I could have found other ways of noticing that. Now, that's taken 8 out of those cells. That makes 8 an X-wing in 2 of those places. Now, there are the 3 8s in the bottom 3 rows still to find. One of them is there. One of them is in one of those 2, and one of them's here. Now, this can't be an 8 because it's the same as that, so this is an 8. Must be. And that's the 8 in column 1. This is huge for the puzzle. That's the 8. Right, 8s. That's led to my orange cell being 9. This is now a 9-6 pair. I'm not afraid to lose the colouring. Now, 8s. We're left with that X-wing. Can't do anything about that at the moment. But this has to be 8, 1, 6, 9. So I can put in the 6 and the 1. That's really good. Got 3, 4, 7 to find in this row. The one on the left can't be a 3. So 3 must be here somewhere. 2, 4, 7, 5, 1. I probably can't get much more done over there. These are also from 3, 4, 7. Now, can those 8s being the same has really scuppered me getting quite as much information done up here. So, where am I going to find somewhere to go? 5 in this column has to be in the top 2 cells. And actually, the other one in those 2 cells is that digit. Oh, I see. I need to put 1, 6, and 9 in this region, in these cells. That one can't be 6. This one can't be 1 or 9. That must be 6. Then we've got a little 1, 9 pair here. And these are from 2, 3, 4, 7. That one is 2 or 7. That's 2, 3, 7. And this could be any of those. This is a 2, 4, 7, 5 quad. I can't really use that. That's going to have to come at the end. Let's try this row. Yeah, where does 2 go in this row? Either there or there. So these are from 1, 7, 9. In fact, that is 7 or 9. And those 4 digits are these 4. Ah, if I knew that had to be a 1, it would go there. If that's not a 1, there's a 1 here. So there's definitely a 1 in one of those 2 cells. 1, 9 there has taken 1 out of those and put the 1 in the central bone in one of those 2 places. So there are 2 1s here in an X-wing. So where is the 1 in this column? I have a feeling it can only be here. I'm just checking all the other cells. I think based on what I know about that central double 1 thing, that must be right. Yeah, it is. That's a 1, that's a 1. I mean, you can check out the reasons why for each cell if you want, but I'm trying to speed run here, but it's very difficult, I find, in an irregular. But that's why I'm not fully explaining exactly how I know that, but I do know it. Right, 6, 5, 1, 9, 2, 3, 4, 7. One of those is a 2. No, this group of cells, 8, 4, 1, and 7, 9, the same as this group. So one of those is a 4, and the other one is 7 or 9. 2, 3, and 6. 6 is in one of those 2. There's no percentage in marking this stuff. I've got my 8's X-wing. I've got a 1's X-wing. They're probably going to feed off each other to an extent. That 6-9 pair both sees this cell. Oh, you look, that's beautiful. That makes it a naked single. Ah, I see. Irregulars do this sort of thing sometimes, and it's just weird. 7, 4. There's an 8 here. 2, 3, 5, 1. That is 6 or 9. There's a pair in the top row. That makes that a 4, 7 pair, which makes this a 7 by the leftovers thing. So this is 2, 3, 6. Oh, look, that's become a 2. That's good. And a 9 at the end. This is a 2, 3, 6 triple. Again, that should be the thing I'm leaving to the last, but I just can't get it out of my head. That's a 3, 4, 7 triple. They don't all see the same thing anywhere. Never mind about that. Top row. 2, 3, and 5 to place. Not very helpful. But 2, 3, 5 in this region makes that a 4. 1, 7, 8, 4, 2. That was probably more easily seen some other way. 6 in this row is there. How are we doing on sixes? They're probably nearly done now. No, hang on. That was a false conclusion. Six is definitely not there. 6 in the row is there. I hadn't seen that could have a 6. Now we're doing pretty well on sixes, surely. We've got the first 7 columns filled with sixes, then we need those 2 to be the remaining sixes. Now I've got 2, 3 pair, that's 4 or 7. 3, 5 and 9, that is 3 or 5 in this row, therefore we can fill in 7 and 4 in the column. That is also 3 or 5. This is 9. That fixes the 1, 9 pair and the 1 there, and that does indeed fix the 8 pair. It's interesting how much you kind of have to keep in your head to solve this, well, by my lights, as efficiently as possible. I know there will be much better solvers of irregular out there in the world, and I wish them very well, and I don't understand how they do it, because this is as fast as I can go. That's a 7, given everything it sees in its row, column and region. That's a 4. That's a 5, and that must be 9. And that very, very irregular shaped region was very helpful. What about this one? Oh yeah, that only needed 1 more digit put in. So it's hard for me to keep my mind on those regions. That's why this is so difficult. 2, 3, 9 in this row. Well, yes, they can all go in. Okay, and then this region needs a 5, 7 pair, which I can't immediately see how it is resolved. That's a 4 to complete the column. Let's come down here. We've got 2, 4 and 7 in this row, so the 2 goes there. 4 in this column is fixing some of these things, quite a lot of them in fact. In fact, that's a 3 at the top of the grid. That's fixed quite a lot indeed, or everything except the bottom row is now suddenly done. 4, 7, there we go. Well, it's the slowest of the 3 puzzles that I've done here, but for me, in an irregular Sudoku, that's a pretty quick time, and I'm not unhappy with that. That is part of the reason that if I'm in an actual public competition, if there's a chance of avoiding the irregular puzzle, I will take it. I'm not bad once they're kind of half filled in, but I'm not very quick at near the beginning. Anyway, now I will come back in a moment and try and tell you my times for all the puzzles, maybe even show them to you, and we'll see how I did for these 10 puzzles based on my times across the 3 videos. See you in a moment. Yes, so here are my times for the 10 puzzles. Now, I will remind you, and I did check just now, that the full test of 20 puzzles, it turns out it was 2.5 hours. These first 10 puzzles, you had a password, and you were only allowed to password into the first 10 puzzles for the first hour of the test. So there's kind of an expectation that if you were going to finish all 20 puzzles, you would probably get the first 10 finished within the first 60 minutes. Then the second password gets released and you can use the other hour and a half on the other 10 puzzles, which were more complicated shapes. We couldn't put them in our software in almost all cases because of the shapes or the grid contents. They just wouldn't have allowed it. Anyway, you can see that my times they added up. Actually, let's just go through them. So these were the 4 classics, and I mean, those are slow classics. If I had bifurcated on, I think it was that one and that one, not today's so much, but on those 2, I could have saved 6 or 7 minutes, I think, between them. But, you know, that's only for competitions, not for doing videos on the channel. But my time was still under 90 minutes for these 10 puzzles, which would have given me over an hour on the remaining 10 puzzles. And I would have hoped to finish about 5 of those in an hour. I have tried some of them sitting in front of the TV in the last week or 2 and in the evening, and they've been times sort of commensurate with that, so not unhappy. I was quite happy with those 3 times, actually. The middle puzzle of each set that I've done, or in the first case when I did 4, the third puzzle, they went quite well. But I think as soon as Wei-Hwa got into the variants, he gave three fairly easy variant puzzles and then 3 slightly trickier ones. I mean, what this does tell you is that Wei-Hwa has graded the puzzles absolutely perfectly. And certainly, you know, I'm not ashamed to have taken 88 minutes. I'm reasonably proud of that, but obviously there's always scope to improve. So that is what happened to me, and I hope that was interesting for you. Let me just get rid of that, and there's the puzzle again. Thank you for watching my speed running. We might resume something like this at some point in the future. As I say, the second half of that test is just not really a candidate, unfortunately, for this. But do bring to attention any other competition tests that are going out, because it might make interesting viewing if you like this. Let us know, and let me know how you got on, especially with that first classic. Very interesting. And the irregular to some extent. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hope to see you again soon on the channel. Bye for now.